Welcome to another video on the Life After Brady channel. Today we're taking a look back at the Raptors Celtics 7-game series in the Eastern Conference semifinals. How the Celtics were able to move on 4-3 versus the Toronto Raptors. First, we're going to specifically look at Game 7. Celtics obviously win 92-87. It was a defensive slugfest. Really, game brings you back to the 80s or 90s with how these teams played. It was poor shooting by both teams, but also good defense. Both teams were pretty bad from three-point line, under 30% for both of them, 23.7 for the Celtics, 28.6 for the Raptors. In the series where Stan Van Gundy really thorough research of it's a make or miss league, and whoever hits more shots wins. Both teams were missing shots. So the 3 points were not the difference last night. If the Celtics were to lose, though, the next stat to me is what would have really kept them up at night. They missed 10 free throws. They go 56% from the line on 13 of 23, compared to the Raptors who only missed 2 and nearly shoot 90%. That absolutely could kill the Celtics, especially down the end. You have the Grant Williams, 2 missed free throws. Tatum goes in, makes the awesome rebound, and he goes 1 of 2. I mean, you missed 3 out of 4 free throws last 2 minutes of the game. You kind of deserve to lose, but Celtics pulled it out for other reasons. The next big number here that jumps out to me is the steals and turnover. Celtics had 12 steals. Raptors only had 1. Off those 12 turnovers, the Celtics must have had 31, and the Raptors only hit 18. The steals is, though, the telling thing to me. Jaylen had 4. Smart had a couple, including a couple of key ones. Then obviously the Smart block. Just Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet were not able to be as active as they had in previous games. Not able to get their hands in as much. Tatum did a good job controlling the ball and didn't let them get the steals like they had previously, which allowed the Celtics that many more opportunities. This game is going to be remembered for the Jayson Tatum game, and it absolutely should be. First player since Larry Bird to go, I think it's 25, 10, and 5 points, rebounds, and assists in the Game 7 in the playoffs. He goes 29, 12, and 7, absolutely leads the way for the Celtics. Much more the Game 6, was the one holding the ball. I think Kemba had the ball a lot Game 6, even though he wasn't clearly scoring. They trusted Tatum a little bit more in this game. He plays 44 out of 48 minutes, leaves it all out there. The three-pointers was a big difference to me. He's so hesitant sometimes, and I'll go into this in a second, but just really wants to see it, feel the defense, let them come to him a little bit, and then he can beat him off the dribble. Did a better job with the catch and shoot threes of just getting it up there. He's probably their best three-point shooter, so just get on the rim, buddy, and see what happens. He did it there for 4 of 8, and then got to the line. 2 years ago, a year ago, just wasn't confident on the rim. Throws up a lot of floaters. He was going for layups. He was going for dunks last night, and gets him to the line 10 times, which is key to get going. And then the rebounds. Now, this is why Toronto, to me, was idiotic and didn't crash the offensive rebounds. He was getting a lot of free rebounds. Those 12 defensive rebounds were, free. He was the only one there. But to me, that's the next transition in his game of I do not mean it that he's going to be the caliber player of LeBron James, but what LeBron's doing for the Lakers right now at the age of 35. LeBron does a fantastic job. Gets the rebound, goes, looks up the court, really like the field, like a quarterback, and makes to go make a play. And Tatum, to me, doesn't really attack when he gets that rebound in transition. He kind of waits for the defense to set up and really make so he can make a play off the dribble. If he just attacks, if he just goes, he's not the LeBron James physical nature, but he's clearly physically talented. I think there'd be a way to even step his game up a step further. Tice fouled out. Wasn't the best Tice game, but it was solid. And then Kemba, tough series for him. We'll get to him a little bit later. Came alive in the second half to me. Found a way to kind of get in the just below the free throw line, get the 2-point jump shot going for him. Was only 1 of 7 for 3. Clearly was phased by that box and won all series, but gave him 14 points, which is better than the 2 that got the previous game. This is Tatum's team, and Kemba does a good job of being the secondary ball handler, in my opinion, but does a nice job. And then Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown. I mean, the stat humpers just absolutely hate to see this box score because they sucked, according to these stats, but clearly their impact was so profound in this game, and the reason they won this game to me was these two players, Smart and Brown. Smart on the defensive end, absolutely phenomenal. The key block on Norman Powell was phenomenal. And then early on, everyone's joking on Twitter, Marcus Smart's shooting too much. We need to get Marcus Smart out of there. We don't want that. To me, in Game 7, you need a fearlessness. You need a guy that, hey guys, this is just another game. We just got to play the way we know how to play. And Marcus Smart does that. He plays with no fear. So although these shots weren't going in, as he started off 0 for 4, I believe, or 2 for 4, he just let the rest of the Celtics come into the game. And instead of starting down 15 or something like that, Celtics were actually leading to begin with, and then Toronto roared back in the first quarter. But good from him. And then Jaylen Brown, just smart player. 1 of 7 for 3. Started off, he was bad from 3, especially early on. So, all right, I don't have him for 3 today. I'm not going to go for 2 for 12. I'm not going to lose my team the game that way. Let me go to the rim. Let me step in a little bit, hit a couple closer jumpers, go attack, get to the free throw line a little bit. Over one, he didn't do a ton. Just a smart player. 10 of 17, puts up 21 points. The second leading scorer for a guy who goes 1 of 7 from 3. Didn't just sit the corner 3 and wait for it to come to him. And then defensively, obviously phenomenal. 8 rebounds. 4 steals, just he's a special player. And then we'll just point out the bench. This is why you just question what the Celtics are going to do against the Heat, as they're tired and just don't have the bodies. Semi, 9 minutes, minus 14. Wanamaker, minus 11 in 9 minutes. Unless Kemba and Tatum are playing 44 minutes every game in this series, it's going to be hard sailing, is what I'll say about that. Speaking of hard sailing, though, and just not have enough juice left, that to me was the Toronto Raptors. They played, obviously they go to the championship game and win last year. They had to really play their guys big minutes this series. Marc Gasol was virtually nothing and really a negative this series. Ibaka, and so unfortunately 2020 you can't play a guy his size as long as you'd like to. Kind of surprising to me. We heard all series, and I don't know if Boucher and Hollis Jefferson are injured or what the deal is. All we talked about was how the Raptors had a 10-man bench all season. We didn't know if, who was going to be their guys. And now all of a sudden, this series, it was a 5-man rotation. Essentially Lowry, Van Fleet, OG Anunoby, Siakam, and then, all right, so 6. You could throw in Powell. Just not a lot of depth for a team that was supposed to have a ton of depth. And you see Lowry only plays 41. If he's feeling good, he's playing 45, 46 minutes, I'd say. 5 of 15, 1 of 6 from 3. He just didn't have the juice that he usually does. Minus 10, which is the second worst in the team besides Gasol. I guess to me, the two things. Siakam this series just never got it going. 5 of 12 with only 1 3-pointer, 13 points. Just never became the really number 2 that you thought he was going to be. I think we're all a little too heavy on whether he was a number 1 or not. But even a number 2, that's below Jaylen Brown in my opinion of where he was. And Jaylen Brown did an awesome job on defense on him. And then the Ibaka minutes. Only plays 20 minutes. I'm a little confused by that. I know Norman Powell was slightly better probably. You could do more with him. But the Celtics are playing a center. They're playing Tice or Williams most of that game. Ibaka, to me, can get 25, 30 minutes because if I'm a Celtics fan, I was just scared every time Ibaka was on the floor. He just clearly had the Celtics number. He had it going from 3 most of the series, only 1 of 4 last night, but it was a matchup nightmare for the Celtics. And only get played 20 minutes. That's basically the same amount as Marc Gasol, who was minus 19 with 6 points and only 2 fouls. Just a poor decision to me by Nick Nurse. We're now going to go into some of the box scores for the Celtics players. On the top, you're going to see their regular season averages throughout their career, and then the playoff stats so far. We'll start with Jayson Tatum, obviously the leader of this team. There's been a lot of talk about James Harden not showing up, not doing the playoffs. You cannot say it about this guy. 29 this game, 29 in a deciding Game 6 where the Celtics arguably should have won. He comes to play. He's fearless, willing to shoot the ball. 21 attempts, 23 attempts, the most attempts he's had this series. And this playoff series overall. And then the assist numbers: 9 assists last game, 7 assists this game. Just knows how to somewhat get his teammates involved. But I loved it down the stretch. He said, "No, sir, I passed you guys the ball enough. This is my game. I'm taking over." And you saw him really go to the rim late in that fourth quarter, which I thought was absolutely key in why they were able to move on. Next for me is Robert Williams. I know other guys, Kemba, Jaylen, Marcus, are better. This, to me, though, was the key. Robert Williams has been a little bit of a mystery. Clearly a very talented guy. He had some off-the-court issues, why he fell to the Celtics in the draft. Has not played a ton, 13 minutes this season, averaging 5 points. He's clearly a young guy off the bench. But they trusted him this series. No Enes Kanter. They liked his matchup. And he goes 18 minutes, 17 minutes to start the series, and then a closeout Game 7, 17 minutes, gives you 4 points, nothing special, but 3 offensive rebounds, gave him something to think about, and was +7. And I showed you the Wanamaker and semi plus minuses. The ability to get this from your young center, I thought was absolutely key. I don't have it of where these minutes were, because I know Grant came in the end of the game to give more on defense. It's more switchability, which was obviously key. The Fred VanVleet final 3-pointer, but Williams was key. If Williams is -10 in this series compared to this +4, +2, +3, 0, -3, 0, +7, +- Celtics lose. But his ability to be an 0 to a plus player for the Celtics, absolutely phenomenal, and real reason to me why they're moving on. Kemba Walker. He's not going to remember this series fondly, but this is playoff basketball. You got to fight through it. You got to play, and he absolutely did. 5 points in Game 6, 14 points in Game 7. Not his crowning achievements, but he was the reason Jayson Tatum was able to take off, in my opinion. The box and one was set up for him. They got him out of the game. It allowed Tatum to be freed up and make the plays. And also Kemba forced it to me from time to time, which you have to do to me still as the older player, the veteran. Sometimes just Tatum isn't ready for every single possession or 3/4 of possession. So Kemba kept his usage rate up. It wasn't always effective, but again, the Marcus Smart nature, the fearlessness of it, and just showing, hey guys, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep playing. Did a great job to me. And then, found himself the second half. Was able, as Lowry and VanVleet were a little tired, along with the rest of the Raptors, kind of found his groove a little bit. Ends up being +13 in terms of plus-minus with 14 points. So pretty good for me for Kemba, Game 7. Next, we're going to take a look at 2 of the hardest Celtics to really put your finger on, but know that just the heart is there, and the heart is there with these 2. Jaylen Brown's the top, Marcus Smart is the bottom. I've got Brown's statistics from the Philly series, and then Smart just from the Toronto series. These guys aren't great offensively. You look at Brown's 3-point percentage this series: 3 of 9, 3 of 8, 0 of 2, 2 of 11, 3 of 7, 4 of 13, 1 of 7. He's a better shooter than that, as he said. But I just love that the 3-pointers weren't falling, and that doesn't mean he stopped being an offensive player. He goes for 17, 16, 19, 14, 27, 31, 21. He didn't shut off. He didn't just say, all right, the three's not going, I'll let other guys have it. I'll be, get my 6 points or something like that. No. Double digits every game. 27, 31, 21 in the 3 games when, hey, guys, we need to win 2 out of 3 to win this series. Let me play. Let me go get it. And he absolutely did that. And the defensive end, 3 steals, 2 steals, 4 steals the final 3 games. Just absolutely brought it. And then Marcus Smart, no question whether the guy brings it or not. And just offensively, he's better than people think. Part of it's just fearlessness, but he is better. He's not a 8, 10 points a game all the time. 12, 23, 16 closeout games. The other games of the series, 21, 19, 11, and 8. He can turn it on, and he can play, and he absolutely did it. And obviously, just the defense and the energy, you can't say enough about it. Without these 2, there is no Jayson Tatum and Kemba Walker. These 2 on the defensive end, and then being threats on offense, really allowed the Celtics to win the series. And then they're going to have to be good this next series against the Heat. Guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, they're going to have to be great against them, shut them down, and then somewhat compete with them 3-point wise. So we'll see. With that, thank you for joining us for the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and comment below. And if you're not already, please subscribe.